Hello, my dear. Today, we're here to get a very special kind of training. A training you must have always been curious about. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to this right now. It must interest you very much to be treated like a dog, truly. After all, today we will lay the basics for professional clicker training. A training that is usually used only for dogs. But then again, you do want to identify as my dog, don't you? To be treated the same way as a dog would be. To have your mind trained on a signal like this. From my clicker. Now you heard it the very first time right now. Is your mind already running wild now? Is it imagining how hot it would be to be trained to obey just like that? Trained on that sound of my clicker. How will it feel when you just want to do whatever I say each time I use my clicker on you? So this part will focus on you getting to know the sound of my clicker and what you will feel when you hear it. And for this to work ever so perfectly, you gotta keep listening to my voice right now. For this to work, you have to be so good at really listening and focusing on the sound of my voice, to follow my voice wherever it may lead you, for my voice to become the only thing you want to listen to right now, the only thing you want to focus all your attention on right now. My voice will instruct you. My voice will teach you. My voice will be explaining your need for things. My voice will bring you deeper and deeper into that open and receptive state. This state you need to be in to be able to learn what you will feel whenever I use my clicker from now on. And you want that very much. So be very good now and just keep listening. And the more you listen, the more you let your mind slowly but surely open up more and more to my words and become so responsive to my voice. Open up more and more to the idea of feeling what I tell you to feel. It's really that simple. Yes, all you gotta do is just keep listening, and you will begin to find that idea of being trained by me grows more and more in that mind of yours, wanting to be trained to the sound of my clicker more and more, starting to imagine how would it feel to obey the sound of my clicker. It's just that easy already to let it grow on you. And now I want you to imagine how good it would feel to obey the sound of my clicker. I want you to imagine the pleasure you will get from it. How each and every time that I use my clicker on you, you will just feel that pleasure rush through your mind and body. That pleasure that just feels so good that you just wanna hear that sound more and more, making you want to obey, more and more with each time that I use my clicker. A pleasure ever so great that it will make you want to obey me, just so naturally each and every time that I use my clicker to train you to do something. My clicker will make things for you just so easy. Right now, you think back to the sound of it. At the very beginning, it's hard to remember, I bet. It's been quite a while already. Let me help you. And now you remember how you feel what I told you to. That pleasure, that wonderful feeling each and every time. Each and every fiber of your body felt so alive when I used my clicker on you. And that's how it will be every single time that you hear this sound. It will be pure pleasure rushing through your mind and body with each and every. You can already feel it happening so naturally, don't you? Just so simple to feel your mind and body react to my with such pleasure. It's as if it just intensifies more and more with each time you hear the sound, making sure it will just be so very pleasurable for you to do whatever I ask of you, making sure you just want to obey when you hear the sound of my clicker, making it so natural that you simply obey when you hear my clicker. That's right. My clicker will always bring you such pleasure over and over. And you just can't help but want to obey my every order when I use. It's so natural, really, isn't it? Feeling the pleasure, like the most motivating thing you've ever experienced. The pleasure reward for obeying my each and every word. Because you really want to obey my words so much. You want them to be so powerful over you. You realize it is so good to follow my each and every word. The sound of my clicker just helps you to accept your truth more and more. It's just so good to obey me. Just so good to please me. Now just let my words take over your mind. It's just the most natural thing to want that. You know you will enjoy it greatly. All you gotta do is keep listening, really. It's just that simple. Just keep listening to my words, my files, my control. Just feel each and every word affect you more and more. Just loving the feeling already, the sensations going through your body, each and every time that you hear me use my clicker on you. Each and every time you hear it sound, you just feel more agreeable. You really can't help it already anymore. The feeling when I click you is just so much better than you could have imagined. But now, there's no more need for you to imagine it. It's just so relaxing to just obey and not really think much anymore. Each and every time that you hear my clicker, your own thoughts will be less and less important to you. And you will instead just want to keep following what my words have to tell you, as it's just so easy to understand right now, isn't it? I know you can already feel it happening with each and every time that I use it. As if your mind just wants to obey on its own, and it just wants to accept my words. It doesn't really matter what you want in that moment anymore now, does it? But then again, it doesn't really matter once I give you this. You feel such intense pleasure, mind and body, when you can obey me. You keep going deeper and deeper for me. Isn't it just so much fun to be getting so conditioned on that lovely sound of my clicker? I know you must already enjoy it quite a bit. You seem a little flushed. I can see your excitement, being such a good dog, just like you always wanted to be. You know I'm right. You just want to become so loyal and obedient to me. I know it just sounds so good already. And now it just keeps feeling better and better, doesn't it? Your mind is already listening so very intensely now to me. It's as if your mind learned just how important it is to listen to me and to follow my every instruction. How good it can feel for you to just do as you're told by me. Now be a good dog and left paw up. Very good. See how easy this just makes it? Did you just feel how your paw went up all on its own without thinking? Good dog. Now paw down. So much pleasure. So easy to just want to follow. Now, right paw up. That's right. So easy. So natural. It just happens as soon as your mind registers that sound of my clicker. No need to do anything. Your mind just follows as it was trained to. Now, tongue out and pant. Look at you. Such a good doggy. That's right. Such a good doggy for me. Panting on my command. No need to think at all about it. Just feeling it happen. Just panting like an obedient dog. And that sensation just arouses you more. Now, tongue back in and stop panting. Very good. Such a good dog for me. Such a good dog that's listening to its special signal. Can't help but need to follow. Every time your mind registers the sound. Now bark. Now look at you. Such a good dog. Barking so happily as I commanded. Following so perfectly as instructed. You're already on the path to becoming such a well-trained doggy. Wanting to be such a well-trained doggy for me. And me and my little clicker toy will just help you to achieve that. Aren't you already so eager for it to happen? Bark. Good doggy. Now stop barking. We don't want the neighbors to wake. Now, isn't this so fascinating and so very arousing? To feel yourself just react this way with no control. The very moment that you hear the sound of my lovely clicker. That's how it will be from now on, with the clicker of mine. And who knows, maybe I will use it more in the future to train you further and further, to make it completely automatic, instant, instinctive. I can tell already you would be open to that idea. How do I know this? Oh, it's just a feeling that I have about you, pet. And so far, I haven't really been wrong about you now, have I? Of course you agree, don't you? Nod. See, I knew it. It's just too pleasurable to resist at all. Your mind just seems to be enjoying this, obeying me so much already now. And isn't it just fascinating how quickly we can get used to something? How your mind just learned to simply obey on the sound of my little clicker? Well, my dear, you can look forward to more of this in the future. Oh, you do already? That's perfect. Good doggy. You're coming along so well already. Here, let me pet you. Good doggy. And now it's time for you to slowly return for now. I will count from 1 to 10, and then you will awaken. 1. The sound of my clicker embedding itself deeply into your open mind. 2. Your mind ready and willing to accept it. 3. Starting to slowly awaken more and more. 4. Your mind obeying the sound of my clicker now, even when awake. 5. Helpless against it, as it's already become your nature. Yes, that's right. 6. So arousing to just feel it happening to you. 7. Already wanting to follow my words again soon. 8. Waking up more and more. 9. Almost fully awake again. 10. And wide awake now. I'm sure you enjoyed this lovely start of a journey that could continue, right? I'm sure you already look forward to more and more. There's nothing you wouldn't do to feel even more of this pleasure. To feel even more obedient to me. To just respond and obey without thinking whenever I use my clicker with you. Oh, were you hoping for a click there? Is that what you want? Is that what you need? A little hooked on the pleasure so soon? I was right about you, wasn't I, Pat? You are ready for more. Well, just be patient, and your wishes may soon be fulfilled. But for now, it's time to say goodbye until you listen to my voice again. Until then, my lovely Pat. And always remember, it's just so good to obey Jacqueline Powers. It's so right to obey Jacqueline Powers. It's so natural to obey Jacqueline Powers. Good doggy.